Howdy folks, PC Cowboy coming at you again. Today I'm going to talk to you a little about something that happens about this time every year. Although for the past few years it ain't been happening like it ought to. I'm talking about the National Felons League, where you got a bunch of overpaid, underbrained morons getting out there and playing a kids game and getting paid millions of dollars for doing so. Well, folks, it's come to my attention that over the past few years, some of them fellas have been disrespecting this country. Well, you know what? Here's a message to the players. And that's what they are, players. Because real men do real work. I'll get to that in a minute. To the players, if you don't like this country, nobody's keeping you here. But I guarantee you won't find any other country on earth that'll pay you for playing a kids game. So, suck it up, Buttercup. Either respect this country or leave it. Now, a word to the owners. You guys that own these teams, you need to take a stand. Tell your players that when they're working for you, they're going to show respect for the country, or they're not going to be working for you long. I mean, you know, it's obvious football players don't have any backbones, any convictions, because if they had convictions, they'd be protesting even in the off season, but they're not. So owners, act like men. Make a stand. A man who won't stand for something, or won't stand for what he believes in, well, he ain't much of a man. Every one of you owners, and that includes you, Jerry Jones, y'all are not men. You're nothing but crybabies. Won't you just wrap yourselves up in little blankets, stick a pacifier in your mouth, and call it done? And now, for the final part of the, how should I put this? Final part of the problem. Final part of the problem is the sponsors. That is, the companies that pay to have their products endorsed by celebrities of the NFL, the National Felon League. Folks, those sponsors need to realize that real Americans are tired of the garbage that these NFL players are spouting. And I'm going to take one outfit in particular. The ESPN, they said they're going to go ahead and air the games, but they're just not going to air the opening and the national anthem. Well, that's fine, because nobody will be watching their sorry programming anyway. So, let's see. I've covered the players, I've covered the owners, and I've covered the sponsors. The POS. Now, I'll just leave that for y'all to figure out what I'm talking about there. As Red Skelton used to say on his show when he was saying something that was a little bit too racy for TV, he'd say, I know what y'all want me to say, but I can't go there. Well, I've pretty much summed up the NFL in 3 words. Now, for the rest of you. There is another sport. It's called rodeo. You'll never see a rodeo cowboy take a knee at the start of a rodeo when they have the grand entry? No, sir. You'll never see a rodeo cowboy or cowgirl disrespect the American flag. No, sir. And you'll never see a rodeo cowboy run their mouth when they ought to be rodeoing. And another thing that I'm glad of, from about, I think they start in July and go through January with the National Felons League. Rodeos go a lot longer than that. In January, well, actually in December, they have the National Finals Rodeo. That's 10 days of competitions each day. Each cowboy or cowgirl competes 10 times in that 10 days. And then their total scores are tallied up, and winners are declared in each event. Well, I'll tell you something, folks. That takes a lot of try. Unlike these little wusses that go out there for, what about, I think 2 or 3 hours one day, and then one team comes out the world champions, and they get this little trophy. Well, now let me tell you something. Cowboys, we get trophies too. They're called buckles. And we can display our buckle anytime and any place. Football teams, they get a big old trophy that they can't really carry with them. Yeah, they get a ring too. But you know what? If I had my choice of honoring somebody that's got a rodeo buckle or somebody that's got a ring, I'll honor the guy with the buckle because I know he earned it. 10 tough, grueling competitions in a row versus 1 3-hour with a break in the middle. You see, they can't even go 3 hours without a break. Yeah, I know some of you are thinking, and bull riders and bareback and saddle bronc riders only have to hang on for 8 seconds. Well, I tell you what, Buttercup, I'll put that 8-second rider up against any one of your football players. Because rodeo hands have got 2 things football players don't. They've got heart and they've got try. Well, also, before I forget, happy Labor Day. I might should have started off with that, but when I got something on my mind to say that's been gelling in my mind for 3 or 4 days, sometimes I forget the formalities, and I apologize for that. And if I've offended anybody by forgetting, please forgive me. Because, well, to me, you got to say what's on your mind and say it clear. And, oh, there is one last group that I want to address. Football fans. I know that there's not as many of them as there used to be, and that's a good thing. But as long as one person is willing to go to the stadium or willing to spend money supporting those pants wetting little babies. That's too many. And y'all may notice I got closer to the camera. It wasn't for emphasis. I was reaching for my Pepsi. And that reminds me, I won't be drinking as much Pepsi over the next few months because Pepsi Cola is the sponsor of the NFL. Matter of fact, I'm going to be calling Pepsi in a little bit, and I'm going to be telling them that during football season, I won't be buying their product. And hopefully some of the rest of y'all follow my lead. Boy, I never really thought of myself as a leader. 2-leader maybe, but a leader? Eh. No, I'm just an old cowboy. He's got a lot on his mind and has finally found a way of getting what I've got to say out there to where folks hear. In our For What It's Worth department, during the coming football season, I won't be making comments about football. No, sir. But if I come up with some stuff to report on rodeo, you can bet I'll be right on it. Now, when y'all signed on, I've now got 50 subscribers. And to be honest about it, I'm very excited about that. Y'all have just made this cowboy one happy cowboy. So, y'all invite your friends to tune in. I promise that they'll get a chance to learn some things and maybe get a chance to laugh, because I believe that life should have a little bit of love, a little bit of laughter, and a whole lot of Jesus. You know, before I close, I feel like there's one thing that I need to do. Some of y'all know that I'm in a wheelchair. Some of y'all don't. You may have noticed sometimes, like just then, that I move my chair around while I'm on camera to get a better position. Well, right now, I move my chair around for another reason. Y'all ain't gonna see my face for a minute, but I guarantee you'll hear my words. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, if that offended any of y'all, you probably need to find another channel, because this cowboy is not interested in people who are offended by the Pledge of Allegiance. This cowboy stands for God and country and family. And if y'all don't like that, well, Buttercup, I really don't care. You may say that I have stepped on your toes with my words, and if I have, you know what? They probably need to be stepped on. Because when you disrespect that flag, or disrespect this country, or disrespect the men who have given their lives so that you can have the right to disrespect them. Well, folks, if you're doing that, you're stepping on my toes. And not only will I step back on your toes, I will take my spurs and rake them all the way down your leg before stepping on your toe. I could go a whole message on that. Maybe I will one day. Who knows? The next message I do will be a part 2 to one I did a while back on friendship. And also, folks, this being Labor Day, this will be the last time till next spring that you see me wearing my straw hat. Next week, I'll be back in the felt hat. Because, as you know, if you saw my video on wearing a cowboy hat the right way, Labor Day is the last day of the season that you wear the straw. Now, as I said then, I'll reiterate. Sometimes, if the heat is too much, it is permissible to go back to wearing the straw. Because the winter hat, with fur felt blend hat, it can get a little uncomfortable if it's too hot out. Believe me, I know. I generally, though, try to stick with the seasonal hat. Anyway, once again, to my subscribers, you know, I think I've come up with something else I want to say right quick. Subscribers, I have come up with a hashtag for y'all. Hashtag Patriot Posse. Now, if y'all like the sound of that, you have my permission to use it. Because y'all honor me by watching my videos. And I want to honor y'all by giving you a title that makes you a cut above. Some of y'all may not be cowboys by profession, or cowboys by lifestyle, but I tell you what, if y'all are bold enough to click that subscribe button, then you're honorary cowboys. And if you are kind enough to click that little bell, that means you'll be notified immediately when I come out with another video. Well, then you're good enough to be part of the Patriot Posse. Until next time, folks, this is the PC Cowboy saying, may your stench of, folks, my mind is just not with it tonight. May your horse never stumble. May your cinch never break. May your belly never grumble. And may your heart never ache. Until next time, may God watch over your trail until we get together again. Yeehaw!